Yes, guys. Welcome back to another episode of LBins, and it's Monday morning, and we just played Liverpool, drawn 1-1, and there's a lot to discuss. Hopefully, you guys are all right. Make sure you drop a like on the stream if you've not done so. Let's get those likes up as soon as we can. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Of course, you can check out Nobbins' channel. Link in the description. Let's see who we've got in the building, man. Guys, make sure you're smashing those likes up, innit? Please hit the thumbs up button. Built to Norman, built to Rodri, Fraser, Itchy Goat, KDB, Marshy Boy. Big up to Jess. Big up to Andy, Mank Ninja, Alv's in the building. Nesh is here. Big up to Matthew Beasley. Good up to Chris Kirk's here as well. Big up to Light Industry. Good to see you guys. Hopefully you're all doing well. Please make sure you are dropping the likes, hit the subscribe button. Big up to Ahmed. If you're watching back on replay, of course, give us your comments and thoughts in the comments section below. But where to start, Nobbins? I mean, I didn't watch your video last night, so I'm coming in fresh. I don't know your opinions. I know. I'm sorry, bro. I'm genuinely sorry. I don't know your opinions on this. We didn't really speak last night. There's a lot of discussion going around in the comments of my recent video, the player ratings, and on the panel show I did last night, on the watch along, and on social media just generally, about whether or not this was a good point. You've got some City fans who are saying it's not a good point. I'm kind of saying it's not a great point. I don't think it's as clear as people just saying, "Oh, we got a point at Anfield. It's a great point." When we now we've lost control of the Premier League. We could win all of our games, and now we still might not win the league. Plus, that Liverpool team was weak compared to what it could have been. However, on the other hand, to add a little bit of complexity and context to it, we probably should have lost. So, yeah, it's not a great point, but I'm thankful that maybe we got a point in the end. Yeah, because we probably should have lost. What's your take on it? Was it a good point?
No. No. If I think that the people saying that it is a good point are looking at it through the lens of what they may have expected to get from Anfield under a different circumstance, like in the context of another title race. The fact of the matter is that we were playing an understrength Liverpool team. We were basically at full strength, outside Jack Grealish, basically at full strength. They didn't have Salah starting. They didn't have Trent in the squad, Alisson in the squad, Jones, Jota in the squad, Konate in the squad. Robertson didn't start. So this was an understrength Liverpool team. It will never have a better opportunity to beat Liverpool. So given that context, coupled with the fact that and the title race, no, it's not a good point at all. And you can say it's a good point given the subsequent context that we should have lost because we were bad and bad. But no, I'm not happy because it's mainly due to the performance, to be honest, because I thought it was a terrible game, and I have no confidence anymore that we are going to do anything in the Premier League this season, given the weird errors that we keep making in respect of personnel, in respect of the lack of substitutions, in respect of it being too little too late in terms of changing games, which I'm sure we'll get into. So no, for me, it's not a good point. I'm very annoyed at what we saw yesterday. It's a good point in the fact that we should have lost, but that's not good enough, to be honest, if we want to win this title.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, and I listened before. People saying in the chat, I said all week I think we needed to win the game, because here's the thing, and I keep saying it again. It's not about Manchester City here. People keep on saying, "Why don't you have faith in the club?" I do have faith in the team. I have full faith in the team that we could potentially start a run. I think that something seriously needs to change within the team or the manager in terms of the selections or the way that we're playing or whatever to do that. But I'm quite confident that we can go on a run, because we've been in these situations before where people are going, "Oh, we're not winning anything this season," you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden we're going on a mad run and go and win the Premier League. That's not. I think people are missing the point when I'm saying this. It's not about us. It's about Liverpool and the fact that they're now above us. And if you be honest and look at Liverpool's fixtures, where do you honestly see them slipping up? People are telling me, bro, that United away is going to be a tricky game for Liverpool. I'm sorry, it's not going to. I see them hitting them for 3 or 4 at Old Trafford. I think it would have been a more difficult game actually if United were playing them at Anfield, because at Anfield they can do what they did at Anfield, which is go to Anfield and just put all the players on the edge of the penalty area and defend, and they did it quite well. But when they go to Old Trafford, the United fans are not going to accept United just sitting on the edge of the box for 90 minutes. They're going to have to play, which will leave space, and obviously United will have all the players back. So listen, I think that Liverpool will probably drop points in 2, maximum 3 games. And there I'm being generous. I really am. You know, I struggle to see them dropping points in 3 games. But let's just say that they're going to drop points in 3 games. That's all well and good. The question that you then got to ask is, well, do you see Manchester City dropping points in less than that?
Exactly.
Moment, I'm looking at the way, like, I think there's some arrogance with some fans. I think I don't know if it's arrogance is the right word, but to say that like it's just a foregone conclusion that we're going to beat Arsenal at home. I don't know why people are saying it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to beat Arsenal at home. We've beaten 2 teams in the top 6 this year, both of them with the worst team, which was United. I know Chelsea are technically lower than them, but United are a shambles. And Arsenal are the informed Premier League team at the moment, and they're going to have the bit between the teeth. And by the way, yeah, a point for Arsenal at the Etihad is a better point than it is for City, because if we draw, I think then we'll be 3 points behind Liverpool if they win their game and with an inferior goal difference. So yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like this game against Arsenal coming up, it's a must win. Like if we don't win that game, I don't want to say give up on the Premier League, but I would then really start focusing my energies more on the Champions League and saying, okay, Champions League. And by the way, people will then say, well, how do you have any confidence we can win the Champions League and not the Premier League? Well, the reason I have some confidence we can win the Champions League is because although we're not winning these games against the top 6, we're also not losing them, which gives me a little bit more confidence that we can maybe do something in the Champions League. But we are literally now in a sink or swim position where when we play Arsenal on the 31st of March, make no mistake about it, guys. This is it for me. You've got to win that football match. You have to 100% win that football match. If you lose, yeah, I think then really we've got to say the league's probably over, and we should 100% focus our energy on the FA Cup if we're still in it and the Champions League. But if we draw, you probably still have to fight for it. But I don't know, man. What's your take on this Jack Grealish thing, man? Because I've seen a few people. Well, I kind of agree. We are missing Jack Grealish, but is it as simple as put Jack Grealish back in this team and we start winning these matches? Because for me, whilst I 100% hear the shout that Jack Grealish is crucial to the way this team plays and holds the ball. Like yesterday, for example, in that second half, like we was crying out for someone like Jack Grealish who could just hold the football. And in fact, we kind of seen that the evidence was really when Kovacic come on, because Kovacic is similar to Grealish in the fact that he holds the ball and very rarely loses it. Is it as simple? Because I want to believe, obviously, because I'm a City fan, that when Jack Grealish comes back into this team, what people are telling me is that, oh, don't worry, LB, when Jack Grealish comes back, we're going to be fine. Is it really that simple?
Genuinely, I think it is. I think that had we started Kovacic yesterday, I know that, I'm not Nostradamus, I can't see the future, but my prediction would be that we would win that game. We saw when Kovacic came on how much better we looked just generally. Sadly, by the time Kovacic came on, the crowd was up for it, the players' heads had gone, so it wasn't an ideal situation because we'd allowed Liverpool to come back into it, setting up in the way we did. But he came on and immediately, like the first action that he did was that he received the ball under pressure and he turned and he carried the ball and he got us up the pitch. And that led to an attack. He's basically like Jack Grealish, but in the middle of the pitch in that respect. So I think that had Grealish been there, that would have been exemplified. So yeah, I also think that probably would be the case. I'm with you in that I don't doubt that these City players are capable of winning the next 10 games in a row. However, I'm running out, and I think I've borderline lost faith in Pep this year in respect of his decision making, because it's I can't explain it. I can't explain what he's doing. I said it, I think, on my it was on my in my Discord server, wherever I said it. This has been Pep's worst season in respects of coaching. I'm going to say that. That doesn't mean Pep out. That doesn't mean he's a bad manager. He's still the best coach in the world. But I don't think anyone can name me a worse season in respect of like Pep from a tactical perspective, making really stupid errors. And after the match, speaking to Sky, he said himself, "Oh, I could see that we were losing control of the game." Then why did you wait until the 69th minute to change it? We could all see. I'm sure you could see it, LB. I'm sure everyone in this chat could see it. I'm sure everyone was screaming one name: Kovacic, Kovacic, Kovacic. Bring him on. Why did it take over 2/3 of the game to pass and for the game to run away from us before that happened? And it's not just the first time it's happened. If you think about the Bournemouth game, when he brought on Doku and De Bruyne in a moment where we needed to control the game, he brings on really direct, pacey players. Throughout the whole season, we've seen issues like this. And as I say, in respect of that decision-making, in my opinion, that this has been Pep's worst season. I give him a pass for 16-17. It was his first season in England. I give him a pass for 19-20 because the football wasn't terrible and because we didn't have a defence. I'm not having it that injuries are an excuse. There is no excuse to make some of the decisions he's been making, and that's why I don't have any faith that I'm like 80% convinced that we don't win the title now.
Jeez, man. I mean,
I'm just like I keep trying to trick myself every single week. I keep trying to trick myself. Oh, this week it's gonna be better. This week it's gonna be better. And there was a period where it got better. Like it was sort of like after the Everton game, for like most of those games, like and then the Derby and Luton, and we were fantastic. And now we just seem to have, like it's one step forward, it's two steps back, and that lineup was exactly that. I've no idea what we're thinking. I don't know what we're doing.
I mean, the Kovacic one was completely strange, man, because like after that penalty, right, which was just, couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. Like, just quickly, what was your take on the Ake penalty? Who's to blame?
Oh, I mean, they're both to blame. Ake like 80%, Ederson like 20%, because whilst Ake obviously is stupid and puts Ederson under ridiculous in a nearly impossible situation, Ederson, there is no reason for Ederson to lead with his feet and to just clean him out. If he just like either leads with his hands or stays on his feet and forces Núñez into a decision in respect to finishing, there's a chance that Núñez misses. But obviously, the main fault is with Ake. Obviously,
okay.
Edison has to take some blame though.
Okay. Yeah, no, the Kovacic thing was so weird, man, because like you were completely correct on the point that like after that penalty, we were rattled, man. We lost complete control, and like it was just screaming out for Mateo Kovacic to come on. And when he come on, you could see straight away, man, that the difference that he made to the team. He probably should have started. I mean, most of us, I did. I think you did. Tone did. Pretty much everyone did. When I was reading the chats, when I was reading the comments in the build up to the game, most of you guys in the live chat and the comment section were all saying, yeah, Kovacic in the starting 11. So it's quite strange that he didn't start. But yeah, it was weird that he didn't bring him on. My thing is like, because we're only a point behind, just remember that, is this a wake-up call? Do we need Pep to realize that like Alvarez just ain't working, man? Like, you know what I mean? And now that hopefully Jack Grealish will be back for the next Premier League game, hopefully, because I think he probably will be. By the time that game comes around, will we get into a position where Pep's like, right, no more messing around. It's the treble team back again. No Alvarez, Jack Grealish left, Bernardo right, Haaland up top, and then obviously Foden, Kevin De Bruyne in the middle with Kovacic, depending on what's going on. Like, have we managed to get into a position where we can now play our strongest team with no messing around before it's too late? Because it doesn't feel like it feels like it's not quite too late, but it's one game away from being too late against Arsenal. You know what I mean?
I mean, like the Chelsea game at home was that though, and like the Chelsea game away was that. I don't know how many wake-up calls we need. And this is why that I've lost all faith, because I kept saying to myself, on these shows and in my shows, like now this is a wake-up call and now we'll kick on and now we'll do this because clearly he's realized like the errors he's making. But but the errors keep happening, and this is why I've sort of like got a bit bored of like trying to trick myself. And this is why I'm sorry. I apologize if I sound like really down and pessimistic or whatever. But I kept telling myself, the Chelsea game at home when he started Alvarez in the midfield pivot and it clearly didn't work. That will be the wake up call that Pep needs. And I thought it was, because then we had the decent results and the decent performances against Manchester United, against Brentford, against Luton, against Bournemouth for like 60 minutes of the game. And this is where it comes to one step forward, two steps back. It should be a wake up call. However, it also should have been a wake up call a couple of weeks ago. It should have been a wake up call a couple months ago. I'll repeat. If we play what is, in my opinion, our best team in terms of like the treble winning team, as you've discussed, I do think we win the title because we are more than capable of winning 10 games in a row. My issue is based on history, based on the fact that these warning signs are continuing to be ignored. I've got no faith that will happen. Because why should I?
Yeah, no, it's fair. Listen, it's weird because like I feel like some fans, like some opposition fans, don't get it because like they're saying, "Oh, you're only a point off the top," but it's like, yeah, but you're not understanding. Like our next 3 games are still mad hard. Like I didn't even realize we had Palace after Villa. Like I'd not looked that far into our fixture list. I was like, right after Villa, yeah, we've hopefully have an easy game, but even that's a tough game. And like I just feel that like. You know what I mean? This Arsenal game, I just feel like if Pep has to play. In fact, I'm going to bring up the tactical pad, man, because like for me, I'm kind of like I get where you're coming from 100%, and you're 100% entitled to feel that way, and I'm very close to feeling that way. Here's where I'm at with it, Nobbins. Yeah, if Pep doesn't play this team that I'm going to put on screen now, right, against Arsenal. Right, then I feel like then he's got to be questioned about what his decision making. For me, yeah, obviously now booking. I don't know if you've seen the news this morning, but Edison's now out 4 to 5 weeks, which is great. But luckily Ortega's pretty decent, so that's hopefully that's not too bad. This is the team, yeah, in my opinion, that must play against Arsenal. No ifs, no buts. This is the team, and if you don't play this team, then he's not picking players on form, yeah, and he's not picking the players that should be played. He's picking players for some other reason, right? In my opinion, Walker yesterday, whilst defensively wasn't completely ass, going forward on the ball, it was just a complete disaster. He's had probably his worst season in a Manchester City shirt. I'd drop him and I'd play Akanji right back. We've seen Akanji play right back against Copenhagen, and the way that we built up from the back was absolutely unbelievable. And it was a breath of fresh air. So I'd drop Walker.
Milan.
Yeah, I'm not being funny, yeah. Like Martinelli, as good as he is, he's not the type of player that you play Walker for. You play Walker for the Mbappes, the Vinny Juniors of this world, not Martinelli. That's not to say Martinelli's not a good player, because I know there's a lot of Arsenal fans in here. I'm saying we don't.
Akanji can deal with him.
You'd like to think Akanji can deal with him. He's been our best defender this year. I'm absolutely not buzzing, but like, in a way, now everyone's going to agree with me that Akanji's been our best centre half this year, because people was telling me that Ake had been our best defender this year. People must have forgot the way he started the season.
Yeah, too many bozo moments.
Yeah, he was actually pretty poor. First bit of the season, he was below standard, and people just forgot about that. Now everyone agrees with me that Akanji's been our best defender this year. Ruben Diaz and John Stones in the middle, however you want to play it. Not really that fussed. And Nathan Ake, you can go left back. Actually, kind of like, despite the big bozo moment from Ake, felt fair dues. After that, he could have crumbled. He didn't.
I thought he played well overall, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just a shame. He obviously made the bozo moment, but he stuck in there, and he actually did well after that. So big respect for him, because he could have crumbled under the pressure, but he didn't. Rodri in midfield. I'm going to go Bernardo right. Yeah, Haaland up top. Jack Grealish, who hopefully should be back for the game. And if he's not back for the game, play Oscar Bob. Don't care. Don't care. Because we need to go it's about the system. Because we had this discussion last night on the panel show, right? About why does he keep playing Alvarez in here? And I think Tone or someone made a point of, because we've sold Gundogan, who got goals, are we playing Alvarez in there to try and force more goals? Because he's obviously a striker. And I said, that's not how football works at the top level. Football at the top level is about cohesion. It's about the team, you know what I mean, being one together. Like, you can't just throw a striker on the pitch, left wing or centre mid, and say, "Oh, we're playing a striker there because he's a striker, so we'll get more goals." And then that's how we'll be. No. That's not how football works, man. If football worked like that, your left winger would be a striker, your right winger would be a striker, your striker would be a striker, your two attacking mids would be a striker. Why did that not happen? Because that's not how football works. So for me, if Grealish isn't available, seriously, start Oscar Bob, mate, because he is the most similar to what we have in Jack Grealish, in my personal opinion. Now, Doku, I thought Doku done all right yesterday when he come on. He could have given a penalty away. Probably should have been a penalty, if we're being honest. I would have been pretty annoyed if that wasn't given as a penalty against me. But for me, you've got to go back to the system that got us success last year, and that is a player like Grealish. If Grealish isn't available, I think he probably will be available because it's still, he's been out for a week, and he's still got like two and a half weeks, 3 weeks to go. So hopefully he'll be available. So I play Grealish on the left-hand side. The question that I don't know what I'd do is, would you play Kovacic in here, or would you play Foden and De Bruyne? What would you do?
I think that Kovacic has demonstrated that, as it stands, we must play him in these big games. And if that means not starting De Bruyne, that means not starting Bernardo, who's actually been a bit stinky in recent weeks. I'd actually have a question
about Bernardo Silva yesterday, yeah. I thought that second half performance was Bernardo was shocking. One of the worst 45 minutes I've seen from him in a City shirt. Yeah, I've seen people on Twitter saying he was one of the best players.
Yeah, I don't see that. I thought he was bad. And I think he has been stinking up the gaff for the past few weeks, to be honest, for the most part. But I think that the way this team's looking, we might be looking to drop Bernardo, to be honest, and maybe play Foden there instead.
You know what? I'm actually kind of chill with that, to be honest with you. Foden there, De Bruyne there, yeah?
Yeah.
Essentially, that's probably up for debate, right? You can have a debate about who plays in the midfield. Do you drop De Bruyne? Do you play Foden there? Do you play De Bruyne, drop Foden? But you can't drop Foden. That's the thing. You can't drop Foden. Foden's been our best player this year. You probably have to drop Bernardo Silva or Kevin De Bruyne. And to be honest, you probably drop Bernardo Silva. You're correct. This is probably the team. You can, as a fan and that, you can all have your individual opinion on whether or not Bernardo should play right, Foden in the middle, whatever. But everything else is non-negotiable. The back four, for me, against Arsenal, non-negotiable. Yeah? Kovacic playing, Rodri playing, non-negotiable. Grealish, if he's fit, non-negotiable. Yeah? And then that's it. And then if he doesn't play this, if he plays like, I don't know, Doku or something like that, then, it's just like, what you doing, man? You know what I mean? Like, you've got to go back to the system. This is a game that we have to win. We have to win. If we don't win this game against Arsenal, lads, I think genuinely the league is over, man. You know what I mean? So
it is.
This is it. Akanji, he's been absolutely superb this season. He has. And again, yesterday, that first half, not so much the second half because we were just crap, but the first half, some of his passing from the back out into like the Rodris and the De Bruynes was superb. And I'd stick him on that right-hand side, man. But yeah, honestly, like we're running out of time. We are running out of time, and the next 3 games are super tricky. Do you know what I mean? Like, people saying, "Oh yeah, don't worry, we'll beat Arsenal at home." But on what evidence is there that we'll beat Arsenal at home? This is why we need to play that team, in my personal opinion, to give us the best opportunity. And listen, if we beat Arsenal, trust me, all of a sudden, everyone's mood's going to be a lot better, yeah, and everyone's going to be like, right, come on. Because I do think that Liverpool have probably got at least one game in them that they drop points. And we can win the rest of our 10 games. We can win them all, 100%. But we're running out of time. Like, exactly. and you know what I'm saying about the last chance saloon? And you're fair to say Chelsea was a last chance saloon. Yesterday was a last chance saloon. But it wasn't really. Like, Arsenal, for me, is like, if you don't beat Arsenal, I'm going to call it that I don't think we win the league. And even you said yourself, you still give us a 20% chance of winning the league just then. So it's not over yet, but like, this is it now, lads. Yeah, you've seen Liverpool, mate. Yeah, these players are on that pitch. They had Kwanzaa on, they had Bradley on, they had Kelleher, no Alisson, they didn't have Salah, and they battered us in the second half, mate. You know what I mean? So like, they're going to be very, very difficult to take points off. Now we just got to do our thing, and if we win all 10 games, we'll give ourselves a great opportunity. And you know what? If we win all our 10 games, I think we will win the league. Because I do think Liverpool will drop points in one of them. But again, we are running out of time, and we cannot continue to take points, get a single point, and go, oh, it's a decent point. I just don't agree. Let me come to the super chats, Dobbins. Big up to MCFC for the donation. Appreciate the first ever donation on the channel. Thank you very much for the support, man. Big up to you. Big up to LB with the 10. Says, I'd honestly sell Alvarez this summer and put the money towards Wirtz or someone that Pep will play in the position. Because this thing about squeezing Alvarez into the team is killing us this season. Look at his G&A, says LB 1998. Well, Alvarez was so bad yesterday. I mean, I've never seen a player when I've done player ratings, on this channel and obviously the previous channel for 2 years. Genuinely, I've never seen a player with a passing accuracy as low as Alvarez yesterday. 56% passing accuracy. That is horrific. Everything about his game yesterday was shocking. He could have cost us a goal when he lost the ball. He got Rodri booked. He offered absolutely nothing going forward. I feel sorry for him on one hand because he's been played out of position, but at the end of the day, you don't pick him. He's not forcing him to pick him. Pep Guardiola's played him in these positions, and he's stinking out the gaff and still continues to pick him. So,
it's been like this for months.
Yeah, it has. And listen, there's the odd game here there where he turn up like he did against Copenhagen, but if he plays him against Arsenal, I just feel like what we're doing here. This isn't a hate on Alvarez. I have no hate against this guy. I think he's a decent striker, but he's a striker, not a left winger and not a midfielder. And I think beginning part of the season, he probably masked it with the goals. When the goals dry up, when the assists dry up, they have done in the last couple of months, what does he offer? And 56% passing accuracy is the worst passing stats I've ever seen since doing player ratings. So, listen, I don't think it's good for him. You know what I mean? Because the guy's getting absolutely cooked. You know what I mean? We got fans making failed compilations of him on Twitter, our own fans. This isn't good for him. But Pep's playing him. Don't play him. You know what I mean? And if he moans, just say, well, what are you doing? And by the way, use him as a proper competitor with Haaland. If Haaland's not playing well, sub him off and put Alvarez on, man. Make a change. And then Haaland's going on. Because at the moment, Haaland's kind of got a free pass. Because Haaland's looking at Alvarez and saying, Alvarez ain't a striker. He's playing left wing. I can do what I want. Whereas if you take Haaland off, right, all of a sudden, Haaland's going, oh, damn. He don't want to play me. He's going to play Alvarez. I might have to up my game. And then you might get like even better from Erling Haaland. So, yeah, Alvarez is an issue. But as much as he's obviously playing badly, you got to look at the manager and say, well, the manager's picking him, man. What's your thoughts on the 31st? I think we're winning. Well, I don't know if you're an Arsenal fan or a City fan, but I think you're an Arsenal fan based off the profile picture. If you win that game, we're out the title race. 100% we're out the title race if you win that game. And listen, I'll be gutted. Probably will finish third. I'll be disappointed. I'll be gutted. My attention then will turn to the Champions League 100% and the FA Cup and say, let's do a back-to-back Champions League. Let's try and win the FA Cup again. But I think if we lose against Arsenal with 9 games to go, we'd be 4 points. How many points would we? Or 5 points? How many? No, 4 points behind. Sorry.
Yeah, we'd be 4 points behind. Much worse goal difference.
Yeah, we'd be 4 points behind with a much worse goal difference with 9 games to play. I don't think Liverpool will drop that many points. And by the way, after that, we play Aston Villa at home and then Palace away. So again, it comes and people go, oh, don't worry, we'll beat Villa at home. It's like this delusion which just keeps on rolling into the next game. Don't worry, we'll beat Liverpool away. Or we draw. Don't worry, we'll beat Arsenal away if we don't beat Arsenal. Don't worry, we'll beat Villa. It's like, no. At some point, you've got to stop saying that and saying you're just not winning the games. So, again, I'm going to back my team. I'm going to back my team to win the game if we've got a fully fit squad and Pep plays the right players. But we have to win the match. It's as simple as that. We really do. LB says, Ake absolutely killed us that second half, 1 minute in. And this is why. I know you all laugh, when we do the pray-alongs and stuff, right? And I do the checkpoints. It's legit, because you do know what the checkpoints are. Okay, so when we do pray-alongs, right, we set checkpoints for the game. So we go, right, 10 minutes, nil. We're watching Liverpool versus someone, right? We're supporting the other team, obviously. We say, right, get to 10 minutes, not concede a goal.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And you get to 10 minutes and you go, right, you got through the first 10 minutes, let's get to 25 minutes, right? And you go through these little checkpoints, these mini checkpoints as you go through. And people laugh and that, but people get it. Like, fundamentally, it is a sound tactic. What we should have been doing at half-time is saying, right, we're 1-0 up. Yeah, we're not playing particularly great, but we're 1-0 up. Liverpool are going to come out in the second half and be on us, right? Because they need to get a goal. What we should have been saying to ourselves, let's get to 50, 55 minutes. with no problems. Yeah, no red cards and no goals conceded. Yeah, just everything basic. Make sure your passing's on point. Don't do any stupid challenges. Try not to get booked, all that kind of stuff. Keep the ball as much as you can and try and get the Anfield crowd. Yeah, let's try and calm it down and stuff like that. But 1 minute 30 seconds in, and Ake does that, and it's just like, fucking hell. Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's just the basics, man. You know what I mean? You've got to get through those little mini checkpoints in the game when you're playing games like that. I think to Lucy says, I think it's a good point. Still in it. Made Liverpool drop points. Could have won. Concern about performance. Up to the players and Pep if they want to step up now. I don't think it's a good point, but the second point is fair. It's kept us in it. We're not out the race. If we would have lost yesterday, that's tough. Yeah, that's seriously tough. We got the point, but it is now last chance saloon. Right. So, yeah, listen, I don't think it's a good point, but the second part of your comment, 100% agree with. Like, we still can do it. But this Arsenal game now, yeah, if we draw that game, I don't want to see no one saying it's a good point because it's really not. We've got to win that football match, 100%. Thank you for the super chat. Big up to Massum says, it wasn't a good point and performance yesterday. A team that will win the league would have battered that Liverpool team yesterday. Instead, we got battered. A team that would have won the league would have just won the game. They would have found a way to win the game, regardless necessarily of the score. But yeah, I mean, the second half performance was just shocking, man. We had literally no control at all. It was crazy, man. I don't even know what happened.
We were bad after minute 15. I think people are like looking at the first half with too much positivity. After the first 15 minutes, I thought we were terrible.
You know what's annoying though, Nobbins, is that first 10 minutes, we were actually really good.
Oh yeah, the first 10, 15 minutes, we were fantastic. I was like, this is brilliant. We're going to win easily. And Liverpool just seems like calm down, get back into the game, and we just couldn't cope.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Big up to Thanos says Alvarez got to come off the bench. Pep tripping. It says Thanos with the 2. And German Chicken Wing says, I have a feeling that the international break will either fuck us or Arsenal up. Just hope it's not us. Of course, that international break, anything can happen, injuries and all that kind of stuff. It's a crazy situation. It really, really is. Yeah, listen, disappointed. Obviously, it's the manner, the performance. Because, like, if we would have played all right and it would have been against, like, the main Liverpool team, you get a point. Of course, like, it's a good point, but it's the fact that we pretty much had our strongest 11 out against a Liverpool team that had 5 starting players, I'd say, out the team, and they absolutely demolished us in that second half was wild. The fact that we managed to get a point was quite frankly a miracle. What did you think of the penalty shout for Doku on McAllister at the end? You think that was a pen?
I thought it was. Looking at it, I haven't looked it back because I'm not watching that abomination of a game again. But my conclusion live was it was a penalty. It wasn't given, so obviously I'm wrong. But I thought it was a penalty. That being said, regardless of refereeing decisions, whether it was a penalty or not, we just should have lost that game anyway, to be honest. The amount of sitters that Diaz missed and the chances we just forfeited.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah.
Can I ask you about the what you want to see from no, not what you want to see, because we've already done that. What do you think about the decision to drop Diaz for Akanji? Because I was actually speaking about this a lot on the channel in the build up to the game, and I said I think this is something that we should consider. There was a lot of City fans before the game a bit nervous, a bit worried about it, but I think yesterday proved that this is something that we can do. We can 100% drop Diaz if we need to and play Akanji there, because Akanji's more than capable of doing that.
Yeah, I get it, and it clearly worked, because I think a lot of it was because Akanji is better than Diaz in terms of like defending the wider areas. He's a bit faster than Ruben Diaz as well. There was clearly a fear of pace from Liverpool, particularly Darwin Núñez. That's obviously why Walker started as well. Whether you think he should have done or not, that's clearly why that decision was made. So yeah, I don't particularly have an issue with it. I probably still would have personally started Ruben Diaz because I think he's our best box defender. But then again, I would have also started Akanji instead of Walker. So I would have had both Diaz and Akanji on the pitch. But yeah, I can understand why he did it. I didn't see it as this massive, oh no, what's going to happen now Diaz isn't playing? I saw it as, yeah, it's just because he's worried about the pace. So yeah, it makes perfect sense. I didn't have an issue with it personally.
Yeah, no. I thought he done really well. It was kind of weird because the way that everyone thought the game was going to go with City on the front foot, pressing and the spacing behind. That's why he played Akanji. And obviously Pep said that after the game. That's not how the game turned out. That's really not how the game turned out. Liverpool were actually pressing us back, which meant the space wasn't actually there, which is actually why, yes, Diaz has a lot of shots, but they were from the edge of the box type shots. There were shots where it needed to be a decent effort into the bottom corner type thing to actually go in. And, Liverpool didn't really create a lot from like in behind us, which we were really scared that they were going to do. You know what's kind of funny though, right? I always speak about this is because of the way the game panned out, we was actually the team that was counter-attacking a lot rather than Liverpool. But can't you just tell that we're a team that's not used to counter-attacking? Like, how many times did we get the ball on the counter-attack and then just stop, like, and like sort of turn around and sort of pause it, where we really needed to be making fast balls going forward? Like, I don't know if that's something that we need to work on, because it really looks like sometimes when you're watching this City team counter-attack, it almost looks like they don't know how to do it. And that's because usually we don't do it. Usually we dominate the ball. We're on the front foot. We don't counter-attack. We get counter-attack. So that's something that I think we need to work on for me, because there are games where it happens and we really don't look like a team that knows how to counter-attack. Yesterday was a perfect example of that for me.
I think we also just need to not leave Rodri so isolated on his own. Like, if you look at
that comes back to Kovacic though, doesn't it?
Yes, and it also comes to what we were talking about before with Bernardo Silva, because he didn't have a good game on the ball, and I thought off the ball he was equally as bad. In fact, I thought he was worse. He just kept getting sucked into the press. Like, he would go to close down Endo or whatever, and because he's so aggressive in his pressing, it just meant that you had Rodri left alone to deal with Szoboszlai and McAllister. And then also like Bradley and Gomez when they inverted. So he was being, it's like what we saw at Stamford Bridge. You had Rodri being asked to deal with the whole midfield on his own because Bernardo goes walkabout and just leaves him to try to lock down the entire midfield. And unless your name is Fernandinho or Makaleli, no one in world football has a chance of doing that. Declan Rice could not do that. Declan Rice is not mobile enough or good enough defensively or intelligent enough defensively to lock down an entire midfield on his own. He doesn't do that for Arsenal. He doesn't play in a single pivot. He's not that player. There's no player in world football who can do that. It's not a slight at Rice. It's not a slight at Rodri. No one can do that outside of, as I say, Fernandinho, Makaleli, some of the best defensive midfielders we've ever seen. It's suicidal football, and this is why I'm just so angry with those really weird structural decisions from City. And it's not, and I know you mentioned before, last chance saloon, but that happened at Stamford Bridge. And when was that? When was that 4-4 when Rodri was left on an island? How many times are we going to leave this poor man on his own to deal with an entire midfield, which he clearly can't do? Because again, no one can do it. I just don't get it.
Yeah, no. For me, you've got to play. I mean, we've seen that a couple of times now. You've got to be getting Kovacic in there. And of course, we went through the start of 11 before that has to be playing. I think he's got a difficult decision to make with Walker, because obviously he didn't make him, but the players made him captain of the football club. And, he was going to leave and we begged him to stay. He stayed. But I think that's going to have to be a tricky conversation for Pep to have at the moment, because I think that out and now that right-hand side, for me, it's just not working. You know what I mean? Like, we're not even getting like the solid Kyle Walker defensively that we usually get. He's given us sort of like a all right defense, sometimes poor. We're getting absolutely nothing from him going forward. Like his cross yesterday, I honestly can't believe that, man. Like, why did he blast that across a 6-yard area, man?
Yeah, like a rabbit in the headlights.
Bro, did he think it was Theo Walcott making the run into the penalty area or something? Like, it was Kevin De Bruyne, man. It just needed a nice little tap across the box and he would have had a tap in. Some of his passing going forward was poor. We need to put Akanji on that right-hand side. That's going to be a difficult conversation, though, because I'm pretty sure that, Pep would have given him assurances about game time. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, Kyle Walker didn't play Champions League final. That was probably a big part of why he wanted to leave in the summer. We begged him to stay. Part of that probably will be Pep Guardiola saying, we'll you'll get more minutes, etc., etc. But, that's not how football works, man. You know what I mean? You can't just play a player because you begged him to stay. Like, if Akanji's a better option at right back, Akanji's the better option at right back. And by the way, I say that about everyone. And people don't know this because I say the same thing all the time. For me, my thing about in football, And it always has been, and it always will be. If you're playing well and you've got the shirt, don't care what your name is, don't care about the price tag, don't care about nothing. If you're playing better than the other guy, you're playing. Hence why I think Akanji cost 15 million quid and people nicknamed him Jumanji last year, should be playing every single game because he's our best defender. Play him over Diaz, play him over Walker, don't care. If Alvarez starts playing better as a striker than Haaland, drop Haaland, play Alvarez. Don't care. I don't care what your name is. Kevin De Bruyne, best player that I've ever seen play for Manchester City. If he starts playing crap, drop him. Play Foden in there. Don't care. You can't be loyal in football. Yeah, you've got it, because at the end of the day, the players ain't loyal. Yeah, we know that. Players will get off if they want to get off. You got to play the best players that are playing in form at that time. So for me, you got to get Akanji back at that right back spot. And you know what's annoying, Nobbins? If we've seen this team against Arsenal, in the next game in the Premier League, I'd be confident going in that game. I'd be confident against Liverpool, but like I'd be confident that this team would actually do it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, this team, this is the treble winning side. You know, Kovacic for Gundogan, etc. But this team can do it. Like, I just want to see it, man. How many times have we seen this team this year? We've seen this team this year?
Nope.
We've not seen it once.
We got close to it against Copenhagen.
What was the Copenhagen team?
It was Walker started instead of Akanji. But, you know, before Grealish went...
I thought Akanji started right back against Copenhagen.
And Walker definitely started 100%.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah. But before Grealish came off, that first 20 minutes was glorious and beautiful. And that's basically the only time we've seen it, because like Grealish has been out so frequently. But that defense, when that defense has played, it's only played like twice this whole season. 2 clean sheets, 2 attempts. I know it's a small sample size, but it's not a coincidence that we play our treble winning team, and what a surprise, our individual defenders defend very well. It's not a coincidence that when we play as close to it as we have done this season, we've looked very good. And yes, injuries have been a thing, but it's not. I'm not going to let Pep use that as an excuse. Or anyone try to cover that up as an excuse. It's not good enough with what we've seen. The options have been there. This squad is good enough. So I'm also not having that. You know, people saying the squad's not good enough. It definitely is. It's just not being used properly.
Yeah, but before we wrap up, right? In fact, let me come to the super chats. I've got a question to ask you before we wrap up. Built to MMC says, do you think KDB is finished? No dueling, no defensive work, can't keep the ball, clearly can't play him in midfield, no real wingers and fullbacks in the team. I don't think KDB is finished, but someone in the chat said to me yesterday, are we seeing KDB on the decline? Well, factually, yes. He's 30. He's 32, getting on 33. He's just had a massive injury. Like, it's not bad. It's not disrespectful to say he's on the decline. When players get to 33, they decline. So yes, technically he will be declining, but this guy, you know, his passing will still be there. You know what I mean? Like, you don't decline, your passing ability is still going to be there. I think you have to use him in the right way. And I don't think we have in some of the recent games. You also have to pick and choose his minutes. What do you think about the decision to take him off yesterday? You think that was a good move?
No. He wasn't playing well. Of course he wasn't. In fact, he's playing badly. Of course he was. But the reality of De Bruyne is he can play badly in a game, but he can still get you a goal, or he can still create something, because he's De Bruyne, and because he doesn't need to play well in a game to have 1 or 2 moments of absolute magic. And in those games, you need your like Mo Salah, for example, when he came on. I didn't think he played well when he came on. However, he played that one through ball, which was world class and should have been an assist.
Yeah.
So that's the example where
within a minute of being on the pitch, he did that.
Exactly, yeah. So, and whilst I didn't think he played well outside of that, the reality is he did one good action and it should have been an assist. Your best players will do that. And the option to bring on Doku, I know that Doku came on and hit the post, whatever. He also gave away the ball however many times and didn't really help in respect of us needing to calm the play down. So if the decision was keep De Bruyne on but don't bring on Doku, then that would have been my call, yeah. And I can understand this frustration with Pep because, yeah, again, he didn't play well. It's sort of good because it means no one's safe. Also, Foden went into his position when that happened. So I guess it means that Pep, sees them maybe now on a relatively equal playing field this season, which is good, I suppose, for Foden's sake. But yeah, I think that unless they are like being a detriment to your team, I think you keep him on. I think you keep him on the pitch.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a bit strange. Technical quality on the ball was horrendous. No press resistance at all. Bernardo was losing the balls and giving up. Feel he's already half out this season. Does seem like he's maybe not playing at his strongest that he's played before. Yeah, I just again hopefully that when the big Champions League games come around or the big game against Arsenal, if he plays right wing, he'll play to his ability. But everyone's playing off. Everyone played off yesterday. That's why it's kind of difficult just to slag one player off or just slag the manager off. Like, yes, the manager made some weird calls, but the players were still awful in that second half. You know what I mean? Like, Alvarez, I mean, like I say, 56% passing accuracy is, yes, he shouldn't be playing in that position, but you're not telling me he can't do better than 56% passing accuracy. It was all went wrong yesterday. And to be honest, the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, how the hell did we get out there with the point? Honestly, it's unbelievable. Bill to Jordan with a 20 quid donation, man, says, yes, lads, hope your week goes better than our performance yesterday. I'm honestly tired of how many times we mess up our chances to go top. Still got games, but I'm not confident, especially with Pep's stubbornness. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you on that, bro. To be honest with you, word for word,
Yeah,
I don't think I
100%.
disagree with anything there. Like, we are messing up our chances. I don't know if it's faith, more hope that against Arsenal we do it. We've done it before. This team is now under serious pressure. It was under pressure yesterday. It's now under serious pressure. That game against Arsenal, you lose that game, we're out the title race, in my opinion. Focus on the Champions League. You draw, you're probably not going to win it, but you still have to kind of focus on it because you never know. Liverpool could slip up, Arsenal could slip up, but like, we're being honest, like you got to have respect for the competition. Yeah, and for me, I look at Liverpool and Arsenal and say these are good teams. These are good teams. So I can't be sitting here going, oh yeah, don't worry, we'll draw, we'll still win it because they'll drop points. Like, they're good sides, man. Liverpool proved they're a good side yesterday. Arsenal are battering everyone. You know what I mean? Like, they're a good team. So, like I say, for me, that Arsenal game is 100% a must win. But yeah, before I wrap up, the question that I wanted to ask you: the transfer window back in the summer. Looking back now, was that like one of our worst transfer windows we've had possibly under Pep Guardiola? We lost Ilkay Gundogan on a free transfer because we messed up his contract. We didn't do what he wanted soon enough. We sold Riyad Mahrez for 25 million quid, which I told everyone at the time was a bad transfer fee. And people was telling me it's not a bad transfer fee because it was the third highest transfer fee for an over 30-year-old ever. And I said, don't care. We obviously got Kovacic in, 25 million, probably decent on the price for the experience. We missed out on Bellingham, missed out on Rice, missed out on Maddison. We went for Paqueta. Can't really blame the club for that, to be honest with you. Like, it is what it is. We got Gvardiol in, who's done all right, but he's playing out of position. Like, what do you think about our transfer window? Because for me, I'm looking back and just thinking that loss of... Okay, everyone's talking about Gundogan, and I completely agree. I love Gundogan, yeah. But I think the loss of Mahrez, man, massively, massively underrated by even some of our own fan base. Like, because the thing is about Mahrez, I said this yesterday, Mahrez got a lot of goals, and people always said to me, yeah, but Mahrez stat padded, and he got, how many goals did he get when we was 2-0 up? Yeah, but he killed off games a lot. He didn't just do that, by the way. He also got big goals, opening goals, but like, he killed off games. He made games done, dusted, buried. He was getting 30 G&A a season. And by the way, I don't buy this thing about we had to sell Mahrez, he wanted to leave. So did Walker. Pep took him out, to town, took him for dinner, wined and dined him, and he got him to sign a new contract. Yeah, Mahrez, I'm pretty sure if you would have sat Mahrez down, because his wife didn't want to go. Yeah, I've seen a video. She didn't even want to go. So if she didn't want to go, and she's saying I don't really want to go, and Pep Guardiola took him out to dinner, just like he did with Walker, and said, "Oh, please don't go. Like, you're so crucial." Blah blah. You know this thing. Sell the dream. I think you could have got him to stay. You got Walker to stay. Why couldn't you got Mahrez to stay?
For me, I see where you're coming from with the Mahrez stuff. For me, the biggest one was obviously Gundogan leaving without properly replacing him. I think had we got Paquetá in, I think that we would have seen a very different Manchester City team. I think that we would have been able to stomach the absence of De Bruyne a lot more. I think that would have given us more of a foothold in midfield in games generally. That's clearly what... And Pep seems to have not been able to move on from the fact that he's not been able to get that player he wanted. I think that's why we've been seeing Alvarez in midfield so much. He's sort of like... I don't even know what he's doing, but he's sort of like lamenting the fact that we didn't get Bellingham or Rice or Paquetá, and he's like trying to figure out how to replicate that sort of player. And obviously, the experimentation hasn't worked. Guardiola in for Laporte was good, given the fact that as much as I love Laporte, wasn't really suited for how we play anymore. I get where you're coming from with the Mahrez one. I personally don't see it as being as important as you, but I understand it. For me, it does all boil down to. It doesn't even boil down to letting Gundogan go, to be honest. It boils down to not getting a suitable alternative. I think in an ideal world, we keep Gundogan because he's Gundogan, but there was a solution, and the solution was Paquetá. Sadly, the whole gambling stuff came out, and that became an untenable signing.
Yeah,
it would have been very interesting to see what would have happened had we signed him. And if we sign him in the summer, it'll be very interesting to see how we play next season.
Yeah.
By comparison.
Because you know what the midfield, like 100% they messed up with the Gundogan situation, but like I kind of struggle on one hand to really blame Tiki on that because not the Gundogan situation. The Gundogan situation 100% is getting the blame, but like the replacement, because like with the Bellingham stuff, I said this before, but Bellingham, like we had to go in for Bellingham because everyone's seen what he's doing at Real Madrid. By that time, obviously Rice had already gone, and can you really blame him for the Paqueta thing? You know, we had a couple of good backup options, and they all just failed for whatever reason. Obviously, if we would have got Paqueta, whatever the fuck he's called, I think he would have been very good, man. I think he would have been very good for us. But
it would have been fantastic.
And obviously, that's what I've always said about Nunes. I think Nunes was a panic buy. Like, still don't see where his long-term future is at this football club, despite being a decent player. So, yeah, I think this club has work to do in the summer. I think this squad needs refreshing. I think we need to get some fresh blood in there, especially in sort of the midfield, the attacking areas, but not like the Doku's, not like a project. Because Doku, I get excited about Doku. Yeah, I think he's a good player, and I think it's going to take a bit of time, but I think there's potentially a player there that's going to be super exciting in years to come. But it might take him another year. It might take him another 2 years. Like, he's still very young. He's actually not played that much football. I think we need someone 24, 25, got a bit of experience under the belt, and can come into this team and just do the business, if you know what I'm saying. So this summer, for me, is going to be absolutely huge. But
yeah, we need at least one ceiling grazer. Definitely.
100%. I think Musiala's the one for me. I know he's younger than I just said, but like, he's got the experience of a 24-year-old. This guy's been playing for Bayern Munich since he's 18. So although he doesn't fall into that slightly older category that I want, he's also played for Germany. You know, this guy's got experience. Barella potentially is a shout. But there's always the rumors about whether or not he wants to leave Italy. They always come out, to be honest with you. So yeah, for me, Musiala, whilst not in that age bracket that I'd like, he has the experience, and I think he'd be a great option. Wirtz, for me, is the perfect Kevin De Bruyne replacement. I think he's the perfect Kevin De Bruyne replacement. I just don't think the vibe I get when I'm reading all the news about him and all the rumors is that I just don't think you're going to be able to get him out of Germany. I think he's destined for Bayern Munich. I don't know what you think.
I might upset you. I don't want Wirtz because we've got Foden.
Oh.
Wirtz is a very similar-ish player to Foden. I think that if you want a De Bruyne replacement, you need to be looking elsewhere, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Would you take Musiala then or no?
No. Again, we've got Foden. Very similar.
So what do you want in that midfield then? Do you want someone a bit more?
I want Paquetá.
So yes. You want to basically set up like Rodri, Paquetá, Foden. That's what you want your midfield three to be next year.
I mean, it depends on the game, but yeah, I think that basically he would be as close a replacement we could have for Gundogan.
Okay. Yeah, I want Paquetá. I think he'd be a great signing, and I think he'd offer us a lot. Listen, guys, we're out of time, man. I'm on with Saeed now on the midday live show, which will be fun. Big up to everyone in the chat. Listen, guys, this we got a big game, by the way, coming up this weekend against Newcastle. That's going to be a madness. I mean, their form at the moment is a bit up and down, to be honest with you. So that'll be an interesting game. I think we've got an opportunity there to get a win against a decent side on the day. I think, again, that can give us a bit of a boost. And if we win that, international break, and then it's the Arsenal game, and there is no room for hiding. The players have got to step up. The manager's got to pick the right team. Yeah, Travis, I'm going to block you, man, because all you ever do is moan, 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 moan. You're proper
What is his
weird.
problem?
He's just a weird guy. He's proper weird. Like, you can't say anything. You can't criticize anyone at the football club, any player, the manager. Travis knows it all. Yeah. So big up to Travis. When Pep Guardiola leaves, you put your CV into Manchester City because you know everything's correct. Yeah. We're not allowed to say anything
Crazy.
about the team. Yeah, we're
Crazy.
not allowed to say anything. We're not allowed to talk about transfers, apparently, according to Travis. I've seen all these chats in the chat. Not allowed to talk about transfers because that's negative. Not allowed to talk about form. Not allowed to talk about players. Not allowed to talk about upcoming fixtures. So get in the bin. L Travis in the chat, guys. Everyone spam L Travis in the chat because
Massive
we're not
L.
allowed to talk about anything. Yeah, it's just all happy clappers. Manchester City are great every single game, no problem. Weird guy. So L Travis in the chat. Built to MMC says Finley Gorman will be KDB replacement. Is this guy that we signed from Leeds? I think this is the guy that we signed from Leeds, to be honest with you. He's meant to be decent. He's meant to be decent.
A De Bruyne replacement needs to be ready now, rather than a future thing. They've got to be ready, to go into the team now.
Yeah. But he's going to be a few years. I think he's like 17.
Yeah.
Ben also Scouse has gone from Wales. We'll smash you at Anfield to celebrate a draw, saying no one gives us a chance. This Endo Rodri debate that's begun today is ridiculous. Listen, Endo played well, but come on, man. We're not having that. We're not having that. We're not having that he's better than Rodri. Yeah, crazy. Guys, big up for joining me in the stream today. I'm on now with Saeed on Midday Live. This stream will redirect you there, so come and see me on that one. And I'll probably do another stream later on, man. So I'm going to do a call-in show at some point as well, man. So if people want to come and have their say, if you disagree with us, you know what I mean? You think everything's rosy or you think it's not as bad as maybe we were saying, feel free. Come on, we'll have a little chat. No problemo. But yeah, big up to everyone. Smash a like. If you're watching back on replay, give us your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.